Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is Danger. So, one of the first things I want to go into right before we go into the food, and this should put a little impetus in those out there. Hey, if you're still on the fence on if you think there's a food shortage, here's something to think about. In Wales, which is part of the United Kingdom, one of the things they're doing is basically going to introduce in 4 primary schools, which would be grade schools here in the United States. They're going to introduce what? Insects into the diet and try to gauge the interest of the kids to see if they would be able to eat different types of insects. And the parents probably aren't going to really have a say in it because they're going to do it anyways. This should be kind of chilling for you because they've already talked about this in certain forums around the world, in places where they're trying to come up with alternate forms of protein and food sources for people, to include 3D printed meat. All right, so just take that in for a little bit. I'm going to include a link in the description below so you can actually go to the article and actually read this and see what they're doing, because food shortage is coming and they know it's coming. So right now they're trying to jump ahead of this and get a gauge for not just people, but for the youngest of the people, to get them I don't want to say brainwashed, but basically indoctrinated into eating insect-based proteins. Anybody who knows, in the Western world, 99.99% of the diet is usually what? It's not insects. So this is going to be a very big thing for a lot of the people out there to try to soak up, and it's not going to go over well. So what I got here, and I wanted to talk about this type of stuff. A lot of people, if you're on the fence about ordering this, a lot of people are kind of worried because, so for example, you got freeze-dried foods, you've got dehydrated foods. So this is not all inclusive of what's out there. This is just a few things I pulled just to show you guys. But this is called number 10 cans. This stuff, this is emergency essentials right here. No, I don't have any affiliate links because I'm not sponsoring them, they're sponsoring me. But I'm showing you this stuff because if you're still on the fence, one of the things you need to do is see if you can get some of that stuff to supplement what you can get in the grocery store. Stuff is long-term storage, and you can also supplement it, like I said, with stuff from the store, or if you have a garden and you're growing food to where you can mix and match different foods and come out with different recipes and solutions. And the reason I bring this up is a lot of people aren't getting this, or they're just going to get a few cans. But what you want to do is you want to kind of mix this up. The other thing is this right here. These are mason jars. A lot of people aren't ordering them. And one of the biggest issues with not ordering the mason jars and learning how to can, and there's a ton of shows on here. So if you were to go to Preparedness channel, Appalachian Homestead, she actually shows you simple things such as water canning eggs, okay? And there's other shows out there where they show you actually how to can food and to do it safely and pressure can it, because those type of things can actually feed a whole family. We're talking a whole complete meal, and it'll have all your proteins, your carbohydrates, your vitamins, all right? These are things that you have to look at now. We look at the current wheat situation. On Twitter, there was a posting, and I'm going to be trying to grab that. There's no guarantee if I can pull it from Twitter, where they were showing food lines in Italy. Here in the stores, so you understand why I bring up Italy, is Barilla is one of the biggest producers of pasta in the world. Now, if you understand that, and you understand now when you go into a lot of the grocery stores here in the United States, all the pasta sections, you can get all the sauce you want, but when you're looking at the actual pasta, the actual noodles, and the different types of pasta products, they're all under a limit now, where they're limiting the actual purchase of pasta you can buy. I've actually seen comments and spoken to quite a few people. No one ever thought here in the United States we would actually see pasta limits in our country. We've always had a surplus, especially with different wheat products, because there's a couple other companies that do produce wheat-based products in the United States. Just Barilla, because it's an Italian-made company and they produce so much spaghetti, penne, you name it, across the board, they're able to get that going. So that's something you need to think about. If you need these items, you need to get them now, because right now the stores are actually stocking up, but because of the wheat harvest and the lack of growing that's going on around the world, and a lot of fields sitting empty, these are some of the things you're going to need to get on hand. Now, when I brought up these cans here, one of the biggest things you need to combine with that is to try to grow, and in World War II they used to call them victory gardens. So if you can get those victory gardens or getting food planted around your property, these are some of the things you need to do. And you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what type you need. You need to look at the property, look at what you have, and basically get that installed. You know, if you have a fence, sometimes you can hang pots on, or the planters on the fence. If you know, you can get raised garden beds. These are things that people need to start looking at now and getting planted as soon as possible. Because once fall comes around, and there is definitely a drastic reduction in the production of wheat, rice, corn, and every other vegetable, then we're going to start seeing problems. California itself has just shut off water to over 1,000 farms, and they're starting to restrict water usage in the city of San Francisco. If any of you have ever been to California, you've been in the San Francisco Bay Area, it's a massive area. Not only is it just San Francisco, but you also have the Oakland area, and then just south of that is San Jose. If you go directly east, you're looking at Sacramento. So that whole area, they're starting to restrict a lot of water usage. The worrisome part about that is not so much San Francisco, because, you know, and I do worry about people there, but the thing is, we're looking at 1/3 to half, depending on the product, that California, that region, actually supplies for the United States. And when I say one half of everything of that product that is produced is actually served here in the United States. So once those farms go down, and a lot of them are small farms, but once they go down and the water shut off, that's going to drive food prices up even higher. That's not even including the price hikes because of the fuel costs to get it from farm to table. Okay. So these are a lot of things you need to start looking at. The seeds. So if you don't have a garden planted, you need to start getting seeds. Now, if you have an apartment or someplace where you can't really get, you know, there's just no place for you to really plant anything, what you can do is look at Aerostar. Aerostar has these planters. They basically plug in. You use distilled water, and I'm going to include a link on there that shows you what they look like, and I'll try to get a picture on there. But basically, you can take an Aerostar, get like 1 or 2. You get the distilled water in them, and they come with little pods. You take those pods, you're going to drop them in. And as you can see in the picture I'm going to show you now, the pods basically will grow lettuce within a week or two. You will have a full head of lettuce. You can grow cherry, tomatoes. You pretty much go on the website and you're going to be able to see the different herbs, vegetables, and small fruit, because tomatoes are fruit, that you can grow in this thing. And it uses UV light, works on timer, and it's basically hands off. All you got to do is go in, make sure it's filled up with water, a little bit of food for the water that goes in, which is like a fertilizer. Fertilizes it, helps it grow, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. They also have shells that you can put them on, so you can do multiple. This is going to be a key thing that, you know, a lot of people, you need to be looking at your current situation and start getting your stuff ready. All right. And the reason I'm doing this brief today, because I always talk about beans, bullets, and bandages. You know, obviously beans and is your food and water. So make sure, number one, you get your water hydration, but it's right now, the biggest thing you need to be pushing on is your food and water. Bullets, hey, if you have something that you can use to defend your home and your family, that's great. Any type of firearm that is not illegal, obviously. And then on top of that, you know, you got your bandages. But anyways, I just wanted to hit you guys up today. It's one of those things that's been been a long conversation piece that I've had with about 5 different people today, and we've been discussing things. So these are things you need to look at, and a lot of people think it's all by design. I'll leave that for you. You can look up a lot of these articles. Just start typing in food shortages, and you're going to start seeing a lot of this stuff. So anyways, you guys got any questions? Let me know. Put them in the comments below. If you like the video, click the subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you guys later. And definitely keep your head up, and just keep getting out there and get what you need and stack it to the rafters. You guys take care.